welcome to What Am I Rolling, a twice-monthly RPG one-shot podcast, hosted by me, Fiona. This is part 2 of our Fate Accelerated one-shot, so please make sure you've listened to the first part before continuing on with this episode. To briefly recap, my friends Evelyn and Lucy are playing standby superheroes, part of the LSB, the London Superhero Bureau. Unexpectedly, they've been thrust into the limelight, and now they must not only stop a dangerous bank robbery, but also help the LSB pass a surprise government health and safety inspection. Remember, when a player attempts an action, they will start with a skill number assigned from one of their approaches, and then use the Fate dice, which has plus and minus symbols on instead of numbers, to add or subtract from the number to get a total. This total is then compared to the ladder, a table which determines difficulty ratings for simple checks. The higher the result a player gets, the more likely they are to succeed on an action. The FAE system uses a concept called aspects, phrases which describe a character or scene and modify the roles. On the whole, aspects are controlled by the players, except for situations where the Games Master uses them in a compel. A Games Master will compel an aspect to complicate things for the players in a story. If a compel is accepted, this earns the player a fate point. Fate points can be spent to reroll dice, add bonuses, refuse a compel, and a number of other things. In short, they're very useful to have around. If you want to find out more about Fate Accelerated and download a ton of additional resources, check out the Fate download page on the Evil Hat Productions website. That's www.evilhat.com/home/fate-core-downloads. Whilst FAE resources are freely available under the Open Gaming License and a Creative Commons 3.0 license, Evil Hat Productions does have a pay what you want option, so if you want to own your own copy, do consider giving some money towards it. I'll put a link to it on the What Am I Rolling website and in this episode's show notes. A quick note before we begin, naturally there are times in this one-shot where the players and myself, mostly myself, get the rules wrong or forget something plot-wise, or even say forget to use aspects towards the end of the one-shot. Whilst we always endeavour to stick to the rules wherever possible, at the end of the day we all make mistakes, and what matters most is that everyone enjoys themselves. And with all that out of the way, let's get back to our heroes at the LSB. The only entrance that's open now is the main entrance, and so you both sort of go to either side of the door, like Metallica looking more superhero than you probably go, there's no more people running out. And Metallica's like, okay, on 3, we're going to go in. If anyone I see, I'll just do my thing. I need you to be my lookout. She's kind of realised that she's going to have to take control, because again, you maybe suspect that she's more of a support character as well. 3, 2, 1, and into the bank. It looks very generic, sort of like a Gotham bank. So you've got large arches, you've got like teller's windows. There's a quick flash, again, using your superhero ability, you can spot there's probably about 3 people just about to open fire on you. What would you like to do?
So I think, Metallica's not quite aware of this yet, no. So I try and sort of... Are we close to one another? Are we within touching distance? Or?
Yeah. If you're one step behind her, I'd say she's sort of gone in and done a superhero punch to the ground thing. Mm-hmm. You sort of come in after her, sort of but you suddenly get that That's So Raven moment where you go, and you've got the time to react or say something to her or to do something. So again, this is where you would create an advantage for yourself. So I'd have to make you probably roll something to help. What would you try and do in a situation?
I would imagine that there's at least with there being so many arches, just before Metallica and I sort of round the corner of this arch and put ourselves in full view, I can try and grab her, may or may not grab her hair, depending on how well this goes, but she's too to say anything warning wise, so she just sort of grabs her and tries to pull her.
Because you're kind of using a stunt, so using your ability to be so that would +2 to your roll, I'd say it probably would be a forceful, because you're literally trying to pull her out, aren't you? So
I have +1 on forceful, and then I get +2 to help an ally, essentially.
I'm going to say it's a 4, because again, you're not used to this sort of situation.
Okay. Oh no.
Oh, so that's -1 on there, so that's back down to
on a 2.
Again, you can spend a fate point to bump it up to 2, or you can try and re-roll.
Okay, I'll try and re-roll this, because I think it might be interesting to see what happens if we fuck it.
Yeah, that's alright. So if you give me one of your fate points, then...
No, that's even worse.
Oh!
Yeah, no, we're ruined. Sorry, I'm dead.
So you, I think you just go, no, wait, Metallica, and you sort of brush, and you probably get, like, it just sort of slaps against your thing, and she just gets riddled with bullets. And she sort of just and falls down. So Edith has heard, currently, I'm going to invoke one of the things, so I'm going to invoke that, so she has heard that, currently. She sort of turns around. What would you like to do? I would say that one of your stunts you can do for free, your sneeze ability.
Yes.
She's about to turn around, like she's heard gunfire.
Yes. Beth is just overcome with stress at this point.
Yeah.
There are bullets flying everywhere. Her plan has not worked at all. It's and there's like dust everywhere as well. So she sneezes very violently and takes out like a pillar next to them. So half of something falls apart, which does successfully, I think, distract Edith, but does not help the situation with Metallica at all. It's completely the wrong direction. Metallica's over there and she takes...
I don't think anything's helping with Metallica.
Beyond help.
So I would say then do me a flashy sort of roll for me. And
Flashy.
Yeah, and you can have, because of the way you're sort of doing a flashy thing, is it a distraction? Yeah. So yeah, you can +2 to yourself on that as well. So that will be, you already have 4, I would say. But you get 5 total. 5. So you have debris now surrounding you. So yeah, so you just go... And she sort of turns around and she goes, and it just sort of whips. You feel it in the building, the whole like, roots shake, and one of the columns again, sort of behind you, sort of shatters, and you're just like, look out! And you just push, oh my god, I saved you, that sort of thing. And Edith is sort of on the floor, she's like, you know, like a bit of dust in her glasses, and she's like trying to find her notebook, so still thoroughly distracted still. So you've got debris around you as well, so that's the situation. Back into the bank, Metallica is now on the floor. She looks like she is bleeding out, and you just hear like, who else is there? Come out! You know, and there's sort of like scuffling, and again you get another sort of flash, and you see that there's only 3 armed robbers in this place, but one of them has a person as a shield. What would you like to do?
I'm worried about Metallica, and also, like, there's a lot going on with the robbers, and I don't want to make the wrong move in case he kills a hostage, so I'm, like, stressed. I'm thinking that Metallica might be able to sort herself out by sort of, like, stopping her own bullet wounds with a bit of metal, just cauterize that slightly, and, like, so I feel like maybe she can sort herself out, like, there's nothing I can do about it. So, you do you, Metallica. I have a rubber duck.
Yes, you do.
I'm going to throw it somewhere.
You're going to throw the rubber duck, so you can do that. Are you just distracting them and then going to...
I think I'm going to try to throw it at their heads, one of them's heads, and hope that it just, like, throws them enough for me to...
Would you say you're doing it sort of forcefully, or, like, this is the thing, so describe what you're doing and then think how it would fit into an approach.
Yeah, so I think I would, like... quickly sort of pop out and chuck this rubber duck, which would then give me a couple of seconds to have a bit more of a clever think about like what sort of plan I could call into action. I would like to do that first, and then after that sort of see if there's anything in that brief moment about like what my options are in terms of like, is there like something that I could make them trip over, or like get something to fall down onto them, or like is there like a button that I can get to, like quickly get to and press that actually just like locks them into
a room,
like some automatic
like a panic room sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. That I can lock them into, and then like wait for someone to
wait for the appropriate authorities to come. So we'll take that first part first. So you are going to throw the rubber duck. So what, you're going to do it quickly?
Yeah, I'll just like pop out and like...
Okay, what's your quick stat again?
+1.
+1. Okay, I'm going to say it's like a 2.
Okay.
So yeah, you're going to have to roll for that.
Oh no. Not rolling very well today.
So it's a minus, that's 0 currently.
What happens with the dice? Do they just sort of like fall out of my hand?
Well, no, so we're currently on 0, but this is where we can add more aspects to it.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. So we always roll, and then if you want, actually, I want to invoke this aspect and spend a fate point or something like that. So what have you got down for your aspects again?
So I can foresee the outcomes of my next decision, but get huge anxiety from the choices. I have a bond with Beth over sneezing at the ice cream place, and I resent prime heroes.
Okay.
But I don't have any other.
You don't have any person. Okay, so that doesn't really affect it. Okay, so I'll say that's a fail. The duck sort of like hits like a nearby column, doesn't go in, but like doesn't hit someone. It hits a column and comes back, and as soon as it hits the floor, it starts going wah, 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 and then a smoke starts billowing out from it. But it's in the centre of the room, and you suspect it wasn't a rubber duck.
Okay, excellent.
They sort of turn around, but they sort of know where the direction. Well, they know where the rubber duck is, and they probably suss where you are as a result of that.
Okay, so with the smoke, I'm going to need to think quickly and sneak into a different position. Maybe there's an overturned desk or something that I can sort of army crawl through the smoke to get behind, so that they no longer know where I am.
Cool. I need you then to make me a sneaky roll, but this is going to be more difficult because of the room full of smoke will give you an advantage, but also they know where you are. So I'm going to say it's probably about a 4 that you're able to do that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have +3 on sneaky, so. Okay.
So that's a -1, so that's a 2. So you probably start and you start to cough, and you realise that the smoke, even though it's filling up, it's probably got something else in the smoke, and you start to feel a little bit woozy as a result of that. So you're slowing your movements. The other people are coughing as well, but they're getting closer to where you are. So in the meantime, Edith is sort of dusting herself off, and you can see sort of behind Edith, smoke is starting to billow out from the things.
No, the combination of the smoke and the debris is just too much for Beth. She is now just one after another, and her only goal is to avoid sneezing at anyone. So I'd say this works in quite well, because for poor Kindred and the poor rubber people, they can just hear fuck knows what's happening over in the corner, really loud, and things are starting to fall apart. So it's still, I think, quite an effective distraction. Edith at this point has absolutely no faith in our ability to handle ourselves at all. All I can hear of Edith is her starting to panic behind me, but I can't stop sneezing, so it doesn't help.
Okay, so you're sort of sneezing and stuff like that, just maybe little sneezes. You're probably not breaking down any more buildings, but it's just streaming thing, and Edith's what? And it's sort of gobsmacked maybe by the thing, and slowly she starts writing something in the but that's it. Okay, back to you. You sort of feel a bit woozy and stuff, but it's not taken full effect yet. There are people coming up on you. You've still got rope. The duck is still going off, to be fair. You're not in cover yet. You're moving to cover. What would you like to do? So you got room full of smoke. That's been sort of utilised just now. Chaos is now gone, and there's security's now gone as well.
Okay, but we still have debris.
So debris outside, technically. And the rubber duck's still going off, and you've got rope, so I'll leave that there with you.
Okay, interesting.
When I say when you can create an advantage to yourself or something, so again, was there any? So you could probably do a quick set of things. So that'd be more perception. So if you're trying to look around, you roll for it, and then if there is stuff, we can make that into a situation aspect that you'd be able to invoke for free on your next turn.
Okay, yeah. Let's have a quick cast around for anything I can sort of grab or use, or try and use to force one of them to make a decision that would then invoke a bad reaction in the butterfly effect. Maybe I force them to look down or look up, and they trip on something.
I'd say your another concept is that you're constantly on the lookout for ways to sort of find it to your best advantage. So you're always sort of you're looking. So is that sort of always trying to get those options, even though they overwhelm you?
Yeah,
I guess that would be one of your concepts. Okay.
Yeah, I guess you can't really help it. She automatically takes it in. So
yeah. So using that concept, that would be an automatic +2 to your roll. Could you make me a quick roll for me?
I'm going to roll one at a time in the hopes that we'll stop rolling so badly.
Nope.
Better than nothing.
Minus. Direct 0, nothing. So you got nothing from the dice.
And then I get +1 for quick and plus what for constantly on the lookout?
It'll be 2.
2.
So yeah, 3. So you've still got the columns. The smoke is rising, but it's not filling up the whole room straight away. You've got bank benches. You've got the bank teller area there. You can see there's there's no the siren's not gone off. The alarm sort of thing's not gone off. So there's that over there, a sort of control panel there. There might be shutters.
Okay, so are there any money sacks that she could maybe hold over her face so she's not quite as badly affected?
Yeah, there's a pile of there's a a pile of them very close to where you are because they're just sort of bringing stuff out and then using the hostage to sort of like stop people from. Okay, so there's like 1 or 2 sort of bags there.
Okay, so I'd like to try, because she's quite quick and sneaky, so I'd like to sort of like grab a money sack and put it over her face and then like quickly like tie her existing rope to whatever she can, like a pillar or a desk or something, and then like sneak and try and do like a Star Wars ASAT style like run rings around the guys so that they can't like.
Oh, with the thing. You're not hindered by the smoke because of the money bank. Fine, so that doesn't give you a disadvantage on that. Are you sneakily doing it or are you doing it quickly?
I think because of the smoke cover, it's not necessarily like, and she's quite small. It's not necessary for her to be too quick. It's better to be sort of like sneaky and accurate. Like if she's got the smoke cover and she's got a money bag over her face, it's like easier for her to get around them. For them, I imagine they're sort of.
Okay, I still say it'll be. Sorry.
Can I contribute here?
Of course, yeah.
Seeing that that's what Kindred is going to try to do, Beth, is still small sneezing, decides to head towards them now. Gives up on Edith, decides she's a bad job, best to leave her, and goes over and shouts "Hey" at them, and that, for complete luck, does do the Sonic for once, and so but it doesn't work perfectly. It doesn't knock them off their feet or anything, but it does make them more disorientated. So it helps Kindred with the doing the thing.
That's perfect. So what I'd say to you then, I need you to roll me like a flashy roll, so that you'll get +2. That'll be a 4. Yeah, so you do that absolutely fine. They are thoroughly disastrous because
you see how I did that?
I'm going to try.
And then I need you to do is it a quick thing you're doing because you're just rushing around them?
A sneaky thing.
Yeah, sneaky. So you're just like, hey, and there's like the waves of the smoke come over and they get hit by the sleeping agent. Gone.
Okay. Oh god. +3, 6.
Absolutely fine. Hey, achoo! And the building's chased, and they're like, whoa! And in that sort of confusion, the hostage manages to sort of wriggle out of the control, makes a beeline for the entrance. In the confusion, you manage to whoop around people very slowly as they're sort of trying to aim at you as you sort of like duck behind some cover, and you just wrap them up. And they sort of like, general thug sort of noises, and then you sort of tie them up, and that's it.
Generic thug noises.
As you do that, Metallica sort of rises up out of the it's like metal sort of thing, and so she just sort of slaps her hands, puts it down, and the metal sort of comes up and wraps them even further, and the smoke dissipates, and Edith sort of arrives at the door, not seeing your guys' work. Oh, you did it! Oh, amazing! And then starts writing nice things. I think you're just like, yeah. And Edith's like, can I just get? And starts talking to Metallica about like the describes bit by bit, and Metallica's like, right, and then the superhero quote here, and like and you might have heard some. She's like, oh yes, but I was saved by my, and sort of talks about you. You're like, Damn. Is there anything else you'd like to do in this scene before we head back to HQ?
I want to high five Kindred.
Yeah.
I think I avoid talking to Metallica as a distinct counteraction. I'm not pleased with how Metallica conducted herself, but I can't say anything about that in front of Edith, and we'd much rather just leave. So yeah, I am excited with Kindred, but I don't want to acknowledge really.
I happily accept the high five and sort of then like just lean slightly on Beth. Thank God it's over.
Yeah, absolutely, brilliant. So Metallica doesn't really talk to you guys that much. She sort of like gives you a sort of a nod, realising that you guys did it. She suddenly becomes aware about how important suddenly bureaucrats are, and again from the brief sensitivity training she attended, she's like, okay, and it's just the whole sort of like, well, it was a team effort, but and I've saved, and people can get their money in peace, and will not fear the blah, 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 blah. And Edith's like, yes, writes it all down, and so they head back to headquarters. Metallica gets there and goes, I probably should go actually patch myself up and get back to the training, but thank you guys. And then sort of awkwardly goes back to the lift. Her hair sort of like less shiny now, a bit of smoke and a bit of debris and stuff. You get the sense that she is actually sort of grateful to what you guys did. She wouldn't say it in so many words. Edith is like, I guess we should go discuss the review with you guys. So you go. Is there a special like office anywhere that you guys use for like big meetings? Where would you have such a big important meeting like this?
A conference room. Yeah, like one of the breakout about conference? I am assuming that if this like sensitivity thing is happening, then with most of the office, then it'll be relatively empty.
Yep.
So I guess we can just take them in. And
I can just like there's like conference room 3 and 4 and 5 and actually there's 6 as well, and we could also choose 7. They've got like wheelie chairs in there if we needed it.
Yeah, and
like,
actually we want to go into conference room 7 because it has the good biscuits or something.
And I just like nod along with Beth.
Like, yeah.
You can do
So they go into, and I'd say it's one of those glass conference rooms. So it's like in the centre. You two would probably sit on one side, and Edith will sit on the other. And she sort of brushes off her notes with little bits of the crust, something like that. Well, I have to admit, when I first arrived here, I wasn't expecting what I was expecting, but overall, I think you both showed a great deal of courage and a very interesting way of dealing with the situation. Is there any comments that you'd like to say right now?
Kindra's just like, well, it happened. It was okay. The outcome was fine. Yeah, I mean, it could have ended up several different ways. I definitely saw how it could have gone badly, but like judging from all of the options we had available, I guess like it was fine.
Beth just nods with that, and then her only question to Edith is, "Are you done now?"
And so she sort of says, "Yes, I guess I am done now, but I really can't get this report back." And she rips it in half. And she said, "I'm sorry, but I can't allow the government to think that you guys are acceptable." And she...
We thought it was going to be positive!
And she... Actually, you see that this person sort of flickers. It teleports outside the room.
I just sort of like, before she does it, I'm like, and I like point, and then it happens.
And she just goes out, and before any of you can react, she sort of locks the door, and she went, "I'm sorry, but, after the shit your prime superheroes gave us supervillains, I'm not letting this happen." And it's just sort of like the wig comes off and the glasses come off, and you recognise this person to be Phonos, who is a supervillain that is one of the highest supervillains that does attack the LSB. Their sort of superpower is they can sort of teleport to places.
Cool.
And they say, "Honestly, I thought this would be less of a challenge when I realised they put the shit people in charge, but I thought the review thing would be easy. It would be, something different, but it looks like I'm going to have to hack into the HR computer and release the details of all these superheroes you have and see how that goes." Basically does a huge, like, haha, here is my reveal and here is my plan to you guys locked in a glass room. And because, again, she is sort of a visitor, she now has an all-access sort of key to go to different people. Yeah.
Well, can Beth disagree? Because a glass window is not standing up to a very particular sneezing attack. But annoyingly, while this monologue is happening, Beth feels like she can actually kind of breathe.
Yeah, you're actually fine.
Like she actually got some nice ventilation. so is panicking that she can't do anything.
Kindra just turns to Beth and she's like, "Can you, like, please let them know that it's, like, really not a good idea to give the visitors, like...
the all-access pass!"
If you'd done that one by me, I could have let you know that would be not a great plan.
And Phonos is just sort of like, "Well, I guess I better leave you two bozos here." Ta-ra! And then sort of turns around, sort of starts walking away to the direction where the HR department is. What would you guys like to do?
Oh gosh, Kindra doesn't know. She's like, "Oh, how do you get out of there?" Like, she wonders if she's got her pass on her.
You're foreseeing loads of things. I guess within the moment, though, all you can see is bad stuff. Like, you can see Phonos getting into the computer and releasing all the personal details of the superheroes. There's a backlash of the public superheroes being not outlawed, but like everyone knows who they are, so they can't be superheroes anymore. And it just destroying the LSB.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
She's just like, Beth. We have to stop her.
Beth gets up and goes to, in a blast of inspiration, she goes over to the coffee machine and takes out the thing and starts smelling the pots to agitate her nose.
Excellent.
And her eyes are streaming, but she's not sneezing. So as Edith is walking further and further away, she manages it but blows off the wrong side of the conference room. So they ruin also like the head of HR's office. Mercifully, they aren't in at the moment. Jack's office, which I assume is near the conference room, they always seem to be. They go through a different series of doors to try and get there before Edith
I'd say then, so you'll need to do a forceful roll first to see if you get...
I always say this as if I'm sure it's going to happen.
But it's good though, that's good. So your forceful roll is it's all cancelled out, so you got 0, but it's +3.
Yep.
Absolutely fine. You manage to get through, and you just, again, but it's as you say, you go, but it's like the wrong side of it, and be like, okay, we're out of the conference room, and then I need you to make a sneak sort of roll, a quick sort of roll, because you're trying to get there before the other person. So it's a -1 on your dice.
I have
-1. So
I'm not a
for you.
sneaky person.
Mine's 4.
4 total. Yes, yeah, so I think you're still recovering because that's such a big sneeze for you, and you're sniffing all the coffee puffs, so you're just sort of streaming everywhere. You sort of predict a little bit, and obviously you know the area, you know the routine to the HR fairly well. That's sort of against your nature to sort of deviate to the quickest route rather than your preferred route, but you manage to sort of come on, and then you sort of grab Beth and you sort of rush, and you see like Phonos is sort of looking around trying to find the room, but you know which one is Jack's room. HR, I'd say, is a fairly, it's one of those open plan, again, superheroes, lots of white marble, there's like very fancy MacBooks and a couple of tablets around, but you know which one is Jack's office. Again, it's another like glass cubicle, but everything's like on a standing desk, very one of those back chairs which doesn't actually sit down. The other chairs you would sit on actually yoga balls, that sort of ridiculousness, and you know that it won't be locked. How are you going to stop Phonos from sort of releasing these details?
I think our best option, because we can't stop Phonos, the best option is to destroy the conduit for releasing the information.
Yes.
So I'm like, let's get that fucking computer. I know that Beth could probably like sneeze blast it pretty well. So I'm like casting around like, yes.
Well, you're using sort of, you're looking around for any opportunities, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm like wondering if like, is there that dude who like loves Tabasco? Does he keep his Tabasco on his desk? I can like chuck it at her face, or like maybe someone really loves pepper on their salad and they just keep it in their desk, like, stuff like that.
Beth runs to the staff kitchen.
In that, both of you make me then I guess you're doing quick stuff rather than clever stuff, because you're just looking for anything, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, both of you make clever rolls for me. I'd say the difficulty is like 3 on this, because you're doing...
I already said quick rolls.
Quick or clever?
Oh, sorry, quick on this, because you're just not...
Hey,
so you get +1 on your...
And I'm 3 then.
3?
Oh no.
What's yours then?
It's like... What? No.
You got
-2.
You got -1. -1, so cool. So you're just like shit, and you're getting really overwhelmed by stuff.
Yeah.
And then you were a 3 overall, right?
Yes.
But you instantly know stuff that's so you're like pepper, just all the spices you can find, 5 spice, all that sort of thing, and you just sort of like pouring it like into your face.
And I think I can sort of see what was her name, Edith. Edith like trying on the other side of a locked glass door in trying to find the right computer or something.
Yeah, she's like going through the office, and like if there's one computer, she's like that panda gift, like and just throwing them on the floor, and it's like trying to get through. She doesn't seem to have got there yet.
Can it be that like Kindred, because she's getting these flashes of what would be preferable, can she direct Beth to be like, no, get the Cajun and don't try and blast through that way, go on this side, and it'll be
absolutely
more,
yeah.
I think that's the kind of teamwork they'd be doing.
Yeah, so
like, direct her and just be like, ignore the wasabi, you can't open the packet.
Yeah.
Like, Beth, no, it's a pull top. Don't stop twisting. Stop twisting the Tabasco. Stop pulling.
Meanwhile, Edith is looking at us like, who the fuck are these people?
Yeah, so she sort of turns around and sort of sees you across, again, because it's open plan. You can see sort of canteen, those hideous like mason jars, and you're just sort of pouring. You look horrific. You really think you can stop me with a fucking couple of spices? She just emanates hate, and she sort of concentrates, and she sort of blips, and comes straight up to you.
I think our resentment of prime heroes might work well here.
Very
because,
much.
like, she pisses off by being like, you really think you can stop me with a couple of spices?
So far our plan is working, because she's teleported away from her goal to come and deal with us. Meanwhile, on the 6th floor. The superheroes are all in training, so you never know. They could finish and come down or hear the ruckus at any time. So
if she's gone to scare Beth, like I imagine that I'm like still where I was when I was like, oh, this would be a good thing to do, but I fucked up. So like, can I try and like sneak now to Jacques' computer and like maybe grab something along the way, like a fire extinguisher or something that would like really mess up the wiring?
Absolutely. Make a sneak roll for me then.
Sneak roll.
And I say with your hatred of the thing, that will be a +2 to your roll. So I'm going to say it's a 5 difficulty on this one if you can. Minus. So 0 on that
0, but I have... Wait, what does my resentment give me?
It will be +2 to the roll.
Okay, well I'm sneaky 3, so that's fine.
Hey, you did it! Hey! I'd say Fiona, like, she sort of like grabs you like this, and it's sort of like, you disgust me. I know your game when you try to distract me at the bank, and it sort of goes on to another monologue to talk to you, not realizing that you're still distracting her as
everything is going fine.
Dread is sort of like, and so you make it to Jacques' office, and it's so pretentious. Like there's maybe it's very minimalistic, except for maybe like the Mac on the standing desk is like a furry mouse. You know, it's very prim and proper, but it's like there, and it's sort of open, and it says like Jacques password on their screen.
Okay, so can I like cast around in his office now to see what's there? That like, I mean, because I'm not particularly forceful, so I don't really want to just rely on like trying to use my.
Like, are there any windows? Could she just throw the computer out of the window or something?
So I'd say like Jacques' cubicle is like close to sort of the edge of the building, but there's no windows on his side. It's all very natural light in this HR department, funnily enough. But it's all open plan and stuff. I say in terms of things in the office, it's very minimal. So again, like standing desk, very easy back chair, the 2 yoga balls sort of thing. I'd say as well there might be like a small aquarium. It's something very pretentious, and maybe like a plant or 2. I mean, there's no like heavy shears or anything, or a waste paper basket or anything like that.
Okay, so like I want to pull up like the computer, so like the bit that's actually got the info on it, and like dump it in the aquarium if I can.
Yeah.
I need maybe like shove a lamp in there that's still connected to the main, so I can like really fry it.
Smart. All right, can you make me a forceful check for me, please? And I'm going to compel you again because you are on edge. So the difficulty will be increased by 2, so it's going to be a 5 again.
Okay.
I can give you a fate point and you take it, or you have to pay me the fate point.
I guess I'll take on edge and like take the fate point, and then I guess I can spend it to re-roll or...
Yeah, exactly. So you're really on edge, you're trying to get this done. So that's a -1 currently. Still -1 on that.
Oh. And then like so I got 0.
0? So yeah, I think you try and pull, but it's just a little bit too weighty for you. You weren't expecting you. Again, because you're in such a rush, and you maybe drop it a little bit, but it doesn't seem to smash. I'll let you think about that for a second.
I think at this point, as like you say, this resentment towards prime superheroes and thus prime supervillains is really getting to Beth because she's trying her hardest and isn't managing to perform. It's performance anxiety, but is quite a forceful person. So I think that she wouldn't have sonic boomed. She decided that since Edith was like up in her face, she just headbutts them.
Excellent.
Effective non-superhero technique.
But that's perfect. So what I want you to do is...
Is that a forceful?
It is a forceful, but she's also going to roll to defend herself.
Ooh.
And it'll be whatever your total is minus her total, and that will depend how much damage you do. Okay. So you roll first.
So I'm +1 there.
Yeah.
So I'm 4.
4, but then because you hate superheroes, supervillains, so that'll be a +2 to that. So that's 6 total. So she also
one hell of a headbutt.
So she is. She's take 1 of that, so it's 5 damage in total you give her. We probably won't get time to go into this. You don't take damage, you take stress. Okay. So you see on your sheets here, you've got like boxes 1, 2, 3. If I ever say, you take X amount of stress, you would tick off 1 box that would cover that stress. So the first box is 1, second box is 2 stress, and then third box is 3 stress. So she still takes 5 stress, so she'll probably take off the third box, and then she'll take a mild consequence to cover it. So mild consequences, if you can't take it with stress, you get a consequence which is like another aspect. And the mild consequence, what do you think would happen if you headbutt her? What sort of things that you have?
I'm hoping that she'll be so like disorientated she won't be able to teleport for a few minutes. That, like her brain's feeling all a bit sort of painy and juicy, and that it's not a good idea to teleport when you're not completely focused on where you're going, or you're split into 15 million pieces. So I'm either hoping that she won't teleport, or if she does, she won't make it through to the other side.
Perfect. So disorientated will be her mapping, so I like that. It's a good one. She's going to retaliate to you, and she's going to try and sort of grab you and push you into the canteen, like sort of like, you know, in this sort of saloons bars, trying to push you across things. So she's going to act, because she hates superheroes, so that'll be +2 to her roll. But again, it's the same sort of thing.
Okay.
So you will have to roll to -7.
Do I get a benefit for having my bulletproof vest on?
I'd say you do, so you'd get a +2.
Ooh.
It can absorb stress for you.
Okay.
So I'll roll. So she gets so it'll be 3. She gets.
I'm a minus. And what attribute was this?
For you, it's defending.
Is that forceful again? Or?
Yeah, I'd say it's forceful.
Okay, so I was 3, so that's 2, but I get 2 for being resentful.
So it's 4. So she doesn't hurt you at all in that. So she sort of grabs you and tries to hurt you, but you sort of like push away from that, so that's fine. You can see this sort of commotion as you're sort of handling this. I imagine sort of like a fight going on. What would you like to do?
You can just like, fuck, I'm not going to be able to like lift this onto the fish tank because I guess like it's too high or whatever. So she decides the best course of action is to drag it over to the fish tank and like try and topple the fish tank onto it instead, which would then be like crashing force as well as water, which she's hoping will be able to frazzle it. So yeah, that's what she wants to do.
Cool. Yeah, but that it will be a fall because of the on edge thing, and that'll be a forceful thing you're doing. Nothing.
Yes.
2.
Oh, I know, I got 3.
3 in total. Again, you can spend a fate point to add 2 to your roll, though.
Okay, yeah.
So there you go. So you've done it. I think, again, you're just like, no, Beth! Like, sort of use that in a bonding, again, the bond thing you have, and just pull that down, and you drag it over, and you sort of dash it in. There's like maybe one fish in there goes, no. But you're just like, it's done. So you managed to vacate sort of the main sort of source of the HR records. So you turn back. Is there anything you want to do? Anything else? Are you going to make your way towards Beth and Furnos, or are you?
Yeah, I think like with my bond with Beth, it sort of spurs me into action, and I want to run over and help her.
When you move between sort of zones, I'd say you're you're about 30 feet away, so it's a free thing. So you sort of rush up using your sort of quickness and sort of you're ready. I think actually with that sort of plus, I'd say you get the jump on Furnos because she's currently distracted.
Okay.
So when I say this, it's like a boost. So you can use this, like you invoke it once for free, and then it goes away.
Okay.
So we'll go back to you. You hear maybe some electric blowing, maybe a fish crying, I don't know.
I am very relieved to see that Kindred is still okay, and relieved to see that she's coming to help me. I think my first port of call, again, is that due to her performance anxiety, Beth doesn't really want to rely on her power to help in the situation very much, so she would probably look around for something else to hit Phonos with. In the meantime, Headbutt was a good start. Yeah, I just reach for and like it, I don't know, wherever we are, if there's something vaguely heavy.
It's a kitchen, so there might be there's a canteen, so there might be bowls. There might be
like a plate or something.
A plate
that's drying at the side. I just want to. I try to smash.
Excellent. Yeah. So you do that forcefully again. So again, she's going to roll to.
So I get 4.
Yeah, 4. She does not get anything, so she takes a total of 4 damage. So she'll take 2, and then she'll have a moderate consequence as a result to absorb that. What would you say that would be with the plate smashing? She's disoriented it anyway.
I'm hoping that at this point she might even be like knocked to the ground or something. Like actually
prone.
Yeah, knocked prone. Yeah, she's having a hard time, sort of again with the disorientation. She's just like, she's not. Yeah, she's.
I don't want to let her get up. Like Beth has not really thought this through.
Excellent.
But has now committed to the fact that she is assaulting somebody on company property.
You're doing the thing.
Committed to it.
I love it. All right, what are you doing? I think Furnos in this time is just like can't sort of react properly. You sort of rush up. You've got the jump on Furnos basically.
I'm a bit torn about what to do. I'm running into a kitchen, right? So I'm thinking I have a couple of options. I can either like try and help Beth get a massive sonic sneeze on, and so like I don't know, cast around for some pepper and just like run up and like just like throw it at her and like hope for the best, or like I can gesture to Beth and be like, I don't know, like should I like try and restrain her? So I'm just like sneeze or grab, sneeze or grab.
Sneeze or grab. Again, you're getting overwhelmed with images of like of Beth hitting Phonos trying to get up. I think you foresee like one butterfly effect with Phonos grabbing Beth and then pulling her down and then like punching her over and over again. It's always horrific images that you're getting really overwhelmed
and like
by.
I don't think that Dread would be forceful enough to actually contain Fornos without any sort of, like, unless she had some materials around. So unless there's a panic button or something, which would just be like...
Or a fire alarm. Is there, like, a fire alarm that she can put in?
Yeah, and I think, again, because of your perception, like, again, you're always looking for options, you do see that there is a smoke alarm, and you know that will set off all the things that people have to evacuate because, superheroes.
And it's a fancy government building, and they always have those things so they know exactly what part of which floor has gone off, so it might even... people might come help her.
So do you want to do that?
Yeah, so, like... I guess I grab, like, it seems like HR is a bit of an airy-fairy area. Maybe there's, like, some incense on someone's desk that, like, they've bought for their, like, evening soiree relax. So, like, and they've got their, like, lighter there with them, and I just, like, grab both, and, like, as I'm running up, like, I sort of, like... Fiona is prone, right? So I can sort of use her as, like, a bit of a leg up and, like... jump on her so that I can reach so that I can, like, incense the fire alarm properly and hopefully, like, bring some...
I would say, because that's quite...
it's quite a lot.
No, it's quite a lot. I'd say do a flashy roll, because you're trying to do, like...
I love it. Go for it.
But you do get the jump on them, technically, and literally. So it'll be a +2 to your roll.
Oh, God, okay. So
already, so...
I'm 0 on flashy, so I need to...
But you remember, you hate superheroes, supervillains, so that'll be +2.
And then
you get a +2 for getting the jump on them. It's a very flashy thing. You're not used to this sort of thing. It'll be a 6.
Okay, so I need to get...
Minus.
No.
Remember, you can pay me...
Yeah, okay.
You might as well, fuck it, do it. Go on. Roll, it's +2.
Yeah.
You're right. My bad. So yeah, so you get it, and it looks sort of like do-do-do-do-do-do. And you just sort of and Fonus is like, no! And you just sort of like, and there's just a wailing, like, alarm, fire, HR, quick, If anything, with HR, and with the London Superhero Bureau, you know that they have a lot of budget for stuff, and they've spent it frivolously on, like, robots to clean up stuff. So you see the robots sort of come out and, like, try and clean up, and, like, where is the fire? And you see sort of Fonus is like, oh, fuck. I will return, and sort of slowly but surely sort of hits and sort of away for another day. Gets away. You sort of all file out, and the robots are like, please leave the area, must evacuate, there is a fire. And it's like, if anything, one comes over, you've got, like, the little candle smelly salt thing, and you see it. You're just covered in, like, the powder from the fire extinguisher. And I guess you're filed out to the outside, and you see all the sort of superheroes, the prime superheroes. They look incredibly bored. They're glad to be outside because they've had like 6 or 7 hours in this horrible training thing. And Jacques comes up and says, "What happened? What happened? What? I leave you for half a day to do stuff, and I see records of you guys going out taking Metallica. Metallica's not well. She might have to go to actual hospital." They said, I need a full debrief and fill out more forms, and you sort of both sit there and just like, Jesus Christ. Is there anything you guys would like to do before ending the scene?
No, Dred's just, like, tried to throw the incense as far away from her as possible and, like, dust off the fire extinguisher dust, and like, she's just thinking of anything that she could possibly say to get a good outcome in this, and she's just like, no, that's not going to work. So she's just sort of, like, shaking her head and just looking at the ground, like,
excellent.
Can't answer this.
Excellent. And what about Beth?
Beth knows that she is a state. She looks at her work phone, sees how many emails have happened in the day, and knows that it has not been a good day.
If anything, you could probably get, like, news reports about, like, heroes save bank manager, blah, 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 and you see but also debris, and you like, there's like a viral of you sneezing and the breath coming down.
I think
smoke.
she's just like, maybe that's not such a good idea.
And you're just like, unread for Monday,
like, not really processed it.
Well, that's the end of the scene, so congratulations. Good job, guys.
Who is that?
Good job.
The sun sets on another day, and life at the London Superhero Bureau returns to normal. The villain Phonos has disappeared without a trace, and no doubt will return to seek their revenge one day. For now, though, the city seems safe, thanks to the work of 2 unlikely individuals. It just goes to show that not all heroes wear capes. Roll credits.
The What Am I Rolling podcast was created, recorded, and edited by me, Fiona Howat. This episode's players were Evelyn Goodall and Lucy Edlund. This episode's RPG one-shot was Fate Accelerated, or FAE, by Evil Hat Productions. You can find out more about FAE on the Evil Hat Productions website. That's www.evilhat.com. The theme music was 8-Bit March by Twin Musicon of twinmusicon.org, licensed under a Creative Commons 4.0 license. If you want to find out more about the podcast, check out the website. That's www.wairpodcast.com. Fancy getting in touch? Email the podcast at whatamirollingpodcast@gmail.com. Finally, follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at WAIR_podcast for the latest news on upcoming episodes. Remember, adventurers need not apply.